Hey guys, welcome to my pickups video for November 2018. Got a pretty healthy haul to talk about here. Like usual, I didn't really have much of a plan for this past month. I just kind of picked things up as they came up. I had a couple of pre-orders that came through. I did not participate in Black Friday traditionally, like most people did by going to the stores. I actually took advantage of the Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday sale, and still waiting for those to come in. Should be in sometime this week, so I'm really looking forward to those, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But first, we'll just go ahead and start with some of the more random pickups here. The first one is Scrooged on Blu-ray, and it's Christmas season. This was a really inexpensive pickup. Probably one of Bill Murray's best performances, in my opinion. And if I had to pick a favorite Christmas movie, this would probably be it. Not a straight-up family Christmas movie, but it's the tale of Scrooge and the three ghosts that visit him on Christmas Eve. So, classic 80s retelling, really fun movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Another one here is Krull on Blu-ray. And this is an upgrade from, I think it's a TriStar Sony DVD. Again, very inexpensive pickup from Amazon. It's one of those ones, it's $4 or $5 online. Figured it is worth the upgrade. If you haven't seen it before, again, highly recommend it. It's one of those ones I'd watch as a kid to be on HBO all the time. It's a sci-fi, action, adventure, fantasy type thing. It's weird combination of elements with people on horses fighting with swords, and then all of a sudden there's weird aliens with lasers and stuff. But it's a fun little movie. Hopefully it looks good on Blu-ray. Next one here is War Games on Blu-ray. Again, another upgrade. This is an upgrade of the original MGM DVD that I had. Over the Thanksgiving break, I popped in the old DVD, and it was not an anamorphic title. So if you don't know what that means, back in the day of early DVDs, most TVs were cube or square. They weren't like they are now, where they're wider than they are tall. And it looked fine on that TV, but when it's a non-anamorphic DVD played on a modern TV, it shrinks, it cuts off the sides and the tops, and it just makes it look like a really shrunken image. So this is an HD transfer, so hopefully it looks a lot better than the DVD did. So that's it for some of the random ones. Everything else from here on out will be either special packaging or horror exploitation related. So the next couple ones here I got from Grindhouse Video during their Black November sale. And this is Frankenstein Created Bikers. And not terribly familiar with the lineage of this film. Apparently this is the sequel to a film called Dear God No, which is also on here as an extra. And it's a blind buy for me. I popped it in thinking it kind of be right up my alley. Really fun movie. I thought it was maybe about a half an hour too long. But it's called Frankenstein Created Bikers, so go ahead and try to piece together what kind of movie it is. Biker gang, I guess they're zombies apparently from the previous film, and they're trying to get back to normal, I guess. I did watch it, but it was a little long-winded. Some of the characters were interesting. The dialogue was a little odd for some of the characters, but overall a fun movie, relatively inexpensive pickup, and a nice little film. Maybe eventually I'll watch the first one. Definitely my cup of tea, just maybe a little bit too long. Here's a Blood Diner on Blu-ray, part of the Vestron collection. Again, this was gotten from the Black November sale at Grindhouse Video. This was like $10. Comes with a slipcover. There's probably a reversible cover on here. These ones usually do have it. Haven't opened it yet. For $10, it's a blind buy. I thought I got Shopping Mall for $10 too a couple months ago, so be a good companion to that movie. How bad could it be for $10? Another one here is Her Name Was Torment 2. I have actually not seen this movie. I've heard a little bit about it and the one before it. I think there is a first one, right? But I figured I'd go ahead and give them some business. It was on sale during Black November at Grindhouse Video, so I'll open it up probably over Christmas break. Like some of these other ones, I have some time coming up here over Christmas. I'll dig into that as well. So a couple of really cool things up here. This is the Maniac 4K restoration from Blue Underground. So it's got that, it's hard, you're probably not going to be able to see it. There's a lenticular cover on this on the slip. And these slips are limited, I think, to just the first pressing. And then there's the, without the slip, the same general artwork, just not lenticular. Have not watched this particular version of this yet. I haven't seen Maniac in quite a long time. This is an upgrade from my old Elite DVD that came back probably like 1998, 1999. I'm hoping that this looks just as good as their zombie restoration. But Maniac's a cool, mid 80s, excuse me, slasher type thing. So really looking forward to getting back into that. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But here's a Zombie from Blue Underground. And again, it might be kind of hard to see. This is one of 3 lenticular slipcovers. This is the bridge version, and I don't know if you're seeing what I can see without the camera, but it's more of like a 3D effect. The other 2 have 3 different panes. When you move it, you see some animations occur. I did reverse the cover on this one. This is the more classic, recognizable artwork there. These fat cases are really nice. Both Maniac and Zombie come with 3 discs. Both have the CD soundtrack, the main feature, plus a disc of extras. This, hands down, restoration of the year. They did such a good job with this film, and I'm not really partial to Zombie. It's one of those films that I heard a lot about when I was first getting into these films, and I saw it, and I never really understood the appeal behind it. Because most of Lucio Fulci's films, I don't really get the appeal to a lot of them. But every time I watch this, I like it more and more. I enjoyed the hell out of it this time. This transfer is just absolutely amazing. Everything you've read about it, how good it is true. It's not hype. If you can get this, get it. Even if you're not a big fan of it, I was just blown away by how good such an old movie could actually look. And some people do complain about these 4K restorations being false advertising. It's not really 4K because obviously it's being played back at a 1080p. But the process to scan it in 4K, and they probably downscale it to a 1080p, so it's on a regular Blu-ray rather than being on a UHD. It's worth it. The hype is real. This is a great restoration. And again, the more I watch this one, the more I enjoy it. So, okay, so that does it for most of the first pile. A couple of stragglers here. I got Bone Tomahawk on Blu-ray. This was kind of an impulse purchase from Amazon. I got it for a really good price. Probably one of my favorite horror films of the past couple of years. A Western / horror film. Some people don't consider it to be a horror film. So I kind of get that. But probably one of the most brutal films I have seen in a very, very long time. These types of movies aren't made very much anymore. There have been a lot of violent films that I've seen that have come out in the past few years or so. But this is by far the most brutal, unapologetic. And I really, really, really liked it. So if you're a Western fan, if you're a horror fan, give it a shot. It's got a really good cast. And for being a really good production of this type of film, I think they just did a great job. And more movies like this need to be made. It's really enjoyable. So next here, the last of the regular packagings is Body Melt from Vinegar Syndrome. And I got this, again, outside of their Black Friday sale. This is the slip. I think these were limited to 2,000 or 3,000 copies, and I know they did a bang-up job on their Black Friday sale, so these may or may not be available anymore with the slips. But here's just the regular artwork here. And this is Ozploitation at its best. Last month, I got another Vinegar Syndrome movie. I think it's called The Dead Come Home. I really enjoyed it. It was a trauma film. I'd never seen it before, never heard of it before. I really enjoyed it, so I thought I'd go on and buy something else from Vinegar Syndrome, and just kind of caught my attention. It's called Body Melt. How bad could it be? Really, really, really fun movie. Again, it's a Aussie Productions. It's an Ozploitation film about a company that's sending these vitamins to a bunch of people that live in a cul-de-sac, and it's called Body Melt. What do you think happens when they take the pills? Very, very bad things. Great practical effects on this one. Really, really fun movie. I highly recommend it. If you've never heard of it, give it a watch. May not be for everybody if you're more of a casual horror fan, but I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. And I think the technical aspect of this, though, is what I really enjoyed about it. Not the most, but maybe just as much as the film itself. Because for being a film that was shot on 16mm on a shoestring budget, the elements that were restored were done beautifully. This looked like it was made yesterday. It looks so, so, so good. So Vinegar Syndrome has definitely earned my business. I like their releases a lot, even if the movies aren't very well known. So this is a very weird segue. Body Melt looks fantastic. Another pickup here is The Usual Suspects on Blu-ray. This is the Digibook. Just as a comparison, this looked awful. This was a terrible, terrible, terrible transfer. I mean, it doesn't look like it was shot with a potato. It's cool, cool Digibook, but the disc itself, the transfer was just very, very poor. For an Oscar-winning film, just shows me that big studios just don't care about little movies. They could have done a much better job with this. I've heard the Australian release, or there is an Australian release that has a much better transfer. I haven't confirmed that or not, but this looks like garbage, and it should look great, even though it's an independent, low budget film. This was an independent, low budget film, and it looks fantastic. This is a low budget independent film from a large studio, and it looks like complete garbage. So I'm a little unhappy with this. The packaging's great. The transfer just is not. But a great movie still. It doesn't change the fact that the movie's still fantastic. Next one here is The Exorcist on Blu-ray. Still unopened. This is the Digibook. Scored this on eBay for less than the price from Best Buy. I was kind of scoping this one for a while on eBay and got a really good deal on it. I think I spent like $15-16 on it. So brand new. A lot of the other ones were used and they're really beat up, and they're asking a lot more. So I think I got a good score with this one. All right, so next few things we're going to talk about here. Shuffle some things around onto my Steelbooks. This is the collection of Super Troopers 1 and 2. I've already opened it, already watched it. It's in my little protective plastic there. We watched the second one. I haven't dug into the first one yet. I've seen the first one a million times. Second one, great effort. I think it was more of a labor of love. It was enjoyable, just not as good as the first one, but definitely recommend it if you're a fan of the first one. It's very, very funny, quotable, but maybe a little forgettable compared to the first one. Psycho on Blu-ray here, the Steelbook. And I haven't owned this in a long time. The last time I owned Psycho was on the Universal Laserdisc that came out back in the mid-90s or so. This is another eBay score, $5, brand new. Even had the digital code that works. Still got the J card. This is a great find. I love this Steelbook, and it's Psycho. It's one of the original slasher film. Great movie. Disregard the remake. Watch Hitchcock's original. It's awesome. Next two here. Kill Bill Volume 1 Steelbook. I haven't taken the J card off the back of it yet. And Kill Bill Volume 2 Steelbook. These were at Best Buy. I think I got them for like $10 a piece. Again, upgrades from the DVD. I had the DVD box set that came out a while ago. Basically, mainly got it for the package, but I'm sure the transfers on HD will be a marked improvement as well. New one in my collection here is The Karate Kid on Blu-ray. Again, Steelbook. And this is part of the restocks that Walmart got. Apparently, it looks like they got a lot of the old Best Buy stuff. Maybe it's overstock. Best Buy may be liquidating because their media sections are shrinking. And I got this at Walmart, brand new for $14. I was in bidding contention for this on eBay. I think it went up upwards of $30, and that was ridiculous. So I'm glad I waited. Walmart had a ton of these. And I'm going to do a few Walmarts, and they've got a ton of these Steelbooks. So definitely go out and check your local Walmarts for Steelbooks. They have a lot of them. And this is actually after Black Friday. They had a bunch of them too. The Thing Steelbook from Scream Factory. This was one I was going back and forth on, and I did end up getting the posters and lithograph Steelbook. This is a 4K restoration. Also comes with the original 2K restoration. So the Blu-ray you can get at the store, not FYE, the one in the regular packaging, the non-Steelbook, is a 2K restoration. This has the 2K restoration and the 4K restoration. I sold that original edition for a little more than I actually paid for it. I think I got maybe like $20 for it, so I could justify the purchase of this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought this. I heard this is the Arrow restoration that was done, the Arrow 4K transfer. I heard it looked great. I haven't seen it yet. But I'm hoping that it's a big improvement because the 2K restoration was fantastic. So this can only be better, right? Okay, so if you've made it this far, I have a few more things to talk about here. And these are some of the box sets that I picked up this past month. Some of them were pre-orders and some of them kind of crept up on me. First one here is the Critters collection. So you have the 4 Critters films from Scream Factory. This was a pre-order. I got this for a really good price. I think it was like $47, which is less than what they're selling it for now. I don't know if there's a sale going on when I put my order in, but got the nice hard box, 4 films on the discs. I haven't seen all of these. I've seen 1 and 2 before. I recently watched the first one a few days ago, and they did a really good job. The transfer, of course, looks great. These are really fun, maybe throwback to like 50s, 60s alien invasion monster movies, but of course done in like the 80s, 90s style. Fun cheeseball movies. I've heard that Shout is not redoing these individually, and they'll probably do, you know, Steelbooks next year individually, but right now they're saying they are not planning on re-releasing these, so this set is the only way to get all four like this. I think there is a DVD or maybe a Blu Ray set out there. I don't know how it would compare to this. This is probably the best way to watch these films, and I think it's worth it if you're a fan of horror in general. But these aren't great films, but I think it's a nice addition to the collection. Next one here is the Blood Island collection from Severin. And this is one that was, again, kind of under my radar. A lot of places were talking about how they were running out quickly. They got them in, they sold them out immediately. I read up on them a little bit, and these are, I think they're done like the 50s and 60s. Way ahead of their time. I watched Rise of Blood, which is the second in the whole thing. This one here, what is it? The Terror is a Man is exclusive to this box set. The other three are available individually, I believe. And yeah, I liked them. Rise of Blood, I liked it. I'll get through the other ones over Christmas probably. Must have been really shocking for their time. Maybe like a Herschel Gordon Lewis type movie where this type of film really didn't exist back in those days. So I think maybe a pioneering film. But this is what, number 1507 out of 3500. So I guess that's kind of cool, the numbered set. And yeah, I enjoyed Brides of Blood, and I'll dig into the rest of them. I'm sure I'll enjoy those as well. These all come highly recommended. So I'm glad to have gotten this. Kind of fell in my lap again. I think Diabolic had a few of these left, so I'm glad to have scored one. Hopefully it's worth the purchase. Next one here, the Complete Sartana collection from Arrow Video. 5 films, I believe, plus a little book and a nice, you know, Arrow hard box. Arrow does a great job. They always do. Again, I've only gone through one of these, and that is If You Meet Sartana, Pray for Your Death. Spaghetti Westerns. A lot of fun. Again, looks great. The elements could not have been in that great a shape. I think they did a really good job restoring them. I can just only imagine what previous unrestored releases have looked like. Arrow killed it with this. And I'm not a massive spaghetti western fan. I've seen a few of the Django films, and this was marked down on Amazon because Barnes & Noble was doing their Arrow 50% off sale, so Amazon marked it down. I had some Amazon credits, so for less than $30, I think this is a steal. And again, I can't wait to go through the other 4 films. I'm sure they're all pretty cool. So nice addition to my Arrow Video collection. And last but not least here, another one that kind of fell into my lap is the Universal Classic Monsters collection. And I think there are 30 films on here, as it says. Yeah, 30 film collection. And Amazon had marked this down in October, I want to say, like 50 or 60 bucks. It was very, very inexpensive. This is a relatively pricey set, which I was not on my radar at all until they marked it down. Once I saw the markdown, I was all over this. And of course, it was back ordered, but I got the preferred price on it. Have not opened it yet. And I've seen all the first ones of these films. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Invisible Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. But I don't think I've seen any or many of the subsequent films. So lots of stuff to go through here. Every horror fan should at least know some of these classic Universal monster movies. And this is a great way to do it. I think these are out individually as well, or in individual sets. I can only imagine that they gave these a loving restoration, unlike MGM with Usual Suspects. These are films that a big studio should care about. This is their bread and butter. People still know them for these films. And I'm very happy to have this, and can't wait to tear through it. Hopefully I can get through a lot of these. Most of these aren't very long. I want to say they're maybe like 60, 70 minutes a piece, or at least some of the earlier ones are. Things are just different back in the 30s when they were making a lot of these movies, and it should be pretty easy to go through and get some of these watched. So very happy to have this, and yeah, so it'll be a nice addition to my collection. So again, thanks for watching. I hope all my American viewers, all 2 of you, had a great Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a fruitful Black Friday. Hope everyone has a great Christmas. Maybe I'll do another video this month if I have some more stuff. Otherwise, I'll come back in January. So meanwhile, again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.